For decades, hitting $100,000 a year felt exactly like crossing a massive financial finish line. That six-figure mark became a universal symbol of American professional success. It suggested you had reached a level of career stability where housing, vacations, and daily life were no longer sources of economic anxiety. Today, that milestone behaves differently. The number still sounds impressive, yet a significant portion of people pulling in $100,000 report feeling squeezed, letting paycheck to paycheck and falling behind. To understand why, we have to look past the top-line number on a job offer. Earning a high income and possessing actual purchasing power are two entirely different economic realities. The first mistake people make when calculating their financial trajectory is treating their gross income as spending money. Gross income is a theoretical starting point. Take-home pay is the liquid reality. This chart represents the full $100,000 gross salary. It looks massive when it's sitting intact as one solid block of resources. But you never actually touch that full amount. Before a single cent hits your bank account, the government takes its cut. Federal income taxes shear off the top. State and local taxes follow. Then Social Security and Medicare chip away another significant chunk. What survives that gauntlet drops into your actual checking account. This net take-home pay is significantly smaller than the starting figure. Planning a lifestyle based on the $100,000 headline creates a massive mathematical disconnect. When major financial commitments are made using that gross number, the actual net income arriving in the bank account has very little margin to handle the expenses that follow. Once that money hits the bank, it meets the single largest variable in the American household budget: housing. This one category dictates the financial flexibility of your entire remaining income. Imagine two identical workers, both earning exactly $100,000. One lives in a lower-cost region, the other in a massive metropolitan hub. Monthly housing costs extend far beyond the base rent or mortgage payment. Homeowners must account for property taxes, mandatory insurance, expensive routine maintenance, and unavoidable monthly utility bills that scale drastically depending on the zip code. Local real estate markets devour vastly different percentages of that identical paycheck. A comfortable 3-bedroom house in one state might cost the same per month as a cramped studio apartment in another. Without factoring in the geographic cost of living, a raw salary number is an economically meaningless metric. This area chart shows our remaining net income, with that massive slice for housings already gone. Now we hit the next mandatory survival category. Transportation is rarely optional. Getting to work or buying groceries requires a vehicle, and that means bleeding cash through a car payment, mandatory insurance, constant maintenance, fuel, and rapid depreciation. Food presents another constant drain. Over the past few years, inflation has slowed down, but slowing inflation only means grocery prices are rising at a gentler pace. They do not drop back down to old, cheaper levels. Unpredictable medical costs also attack the budget. Even with solid employer benefits, monthly premiums, high deductibles, and sudden emergency bills defy any attempt at advanced financial planning. Whatever tiny fraction of cash remains gets squeezed between the past and the future. You have to service lingering student loans and credit card balances, while attempting to funnel something into a retirement account so you aren't working forever. By the time a high earner satisfies basic survival, geography, and systemic debt, their six-figure lifestyle leaves virtually zero disposable liquidity. There is also a psychological trap that keeps high earners broke: lifestyle inflation. When income rises, human nature dictates that spending habits scale up to consume the new cash. Earning more money doesn't make someone wealthier if their consumption of technology, frequent luxury travel, and premium subscriptions rises at the exact same pace as their career. This flow model demonstrates a crucial economic difference. Income is simply a flow of cash through the pipe. Wealth is the accumulated pool of assets that remains after your debts and expenses are paid. We have to stop asking if $100,000 is enough. The accurate question is, enough for what specific goal? Enough to live in a city? Enough to support a family? Enough to retire early? A six-figure salary can easily achieve one of those specific objectives while being totally insufficient to pay for another. The number on a paycheck is just an opportunity. True financial security is entirely determined by the resources you manage to preserve after the world takes its cut.